So, what we're about to do is I'm going to run myself through my full Viking Athlete Assessment Performance. And this is essentially, I'll do a select few tests that I do with all our athletes. So, a few different things on the table just to check some ranges. We're going to jump on to the force plates and do our range of testing that way. So we'll probably look at squat jump, counter movement jump, drop jump, maybe some pogos, single leg jumps, and probably some shoulder work as well. And this is all to do with getting baseline data before, I started. I'm day one of the IronMan 9-month block, but I want baseline data to see where my strength is at the end of track season. So I finished racing literally yesterday. So naturally, I think neurologically, I'm going to be pretty fried regardless. But to get some baseline data before I then dive into full programming from an endurance load, I'm going to enter a pretty big base phase. I've been holding on to, not that I've been gymming super consistently from the track side of things, but I am going to try to enter a big base phase for the gym the next month or two. So I'm going to try to put on as much size as possible while upping volume in swim, on the bike, and running as well. I'm pretty tactical about that, so I'm just going to eat a heap and then be really diligent with what we're doing from a gym side of things. Purely to build capacity, because I know in 9 months' time, that's a long training block for me to be able to sustain and hold on to going from absolutely zero endurance to completing a full Ironman. So right now is a super important time just to build that capacity back up, build some robustness in the body, get the tissues doing what the tissues need to do. So muscle size, get the tendons loaded right, get on top of this Achilles tendinopathy from racing in spikes every weekend. And yeah, this data will help us guide essentially what I need to focus on, and also tell us how strong we're getting, or powerful or less powerful across the whole block. So I need to set up the table, and then I'll set up some force plates and we'll get cracking. So whilst it's a little bit hard for me to collect some ranges, I usually use just a really simple app on the phone to test hip ranges and hamstring ranges, but obviously it's going to be a little bit hard while I'm doing it. So I also have a program that analyzes vision and different ranges. So this vision that we're doing right now from our mobility screen, I'll be able to sit on the computer afterwards and essentially break down what I need. But I'm just going to roll through exactly what I normally would do with everyone that comes through. The first test is a Thomas test. I want to sit on the edge. I'm going to grab that knee, pull it up in towards my chest. I'll change the camera angle in a second, but I want you to see this roll. The idea is to pull the knee as far as I possibly can towards me and relax my opposite leg. So in this case, this left leg down. Every time I breathe out, I'm going to bring that knee in. You'll see my quad come up. I need to relax out as much as possible, taking note and taking awareness of where I'm tight. Anything through my hip, just here, any adductor work, or is everything coming through this bottom quad here? So we'll take that range back up. I'll move it now so we can see the range. Just there's perfect. Same leg, lay back, relax in, relax that left leg. And all I'll do, I'll take a screenshot of that and I'll be able to put it through. So that's pretty good. I felt nothing through my hip complex on my right side, a little bit of strain through my left quad, nothing major. We'll now go left side, pulling up, relaxing that right side. Ooh. So every exhale, breathe in, relax that right leg. Again, I'm actually not feeling anything down through this quad here. we're just feeling jammed up. Like that's essentially as far as I can potentially pull that knee into chest. Relax that leg a little bit more. And breathe. Amazing. So that's looking at those hip flexors. Now we're going to look at hip internal, external rotation. This one, a nice simple test I can do, super quick. I'm going to tuck one leg under. This leg, this part of the leg doesn't move at all. My knee stays perfectly still. I'm going to go toes up to the ceiling and I'm going to push my heel out as far as I possibly can. What I'm feeling here is just being super jammed up. So actually tight on the brink and cramping. Oof. Then relax. And then I'm going to come across that body again, trying not to move that upper leg. And I'll take screenshots and look at those ranges afterwards. We'll then go the other side, same thing. Toes up to that ceiling, as far out as possible. Again, super tight through this hip joint, almost on the brink of cramping, just about did. The exact same thing now. Toe up to the roof, heel across the body, and boom. I get no pain when we come across this body. That's just as far as we possibly can get through my range at the moment, through my hips. Nice and easy. So the next one, it's going to be hamstrings. So we might be able to see, obviously I'm ACL rehab, they took my hamstring graft. I still battle with that hamstring graft. My inner range through that right side is still limited. We might be able to see it here as I test this. So I'm going to go right side first, laying all the way back. I'm going to go both hands behind my upper leg. That wants to stay, that shank wants to stay as vertical as possible. I bring my toes in towards me, and then I'm slowly going to lift that heel all the way up as far as we can go. That's me shaking, so I'll take that range. That's my right side. We'll relax that right side back down, bring the left in, the exact same thing. Toes up towards me. Bring that heel as high as we possibly can. That's my range there. And back down. Nice and simple. So looking through the quads, the hip, internal, external, and then some hamstring ranges as well. I will right now, we'll do some knee to wall as well. We'll see how embarrassingly poor this is. So with any knee to wall test, we will need a tape measure. Normally I stick it out about 30 centimeters. For myself, I know I'll probably need about 15, but we'll leave it there anyway. What I'm trying to do here, we're going to see what that ankle complex is doing. So through that calf, the Achilles, the front of the ankle as well. I want foot flat. I'm going to drop my knee down into that box each time, slide back a little bit more until my heel comes off. So even at 6 centimeters there, that's almost my range. I reckon another centimeter. We'll try for 7, and that will be me done there. So my heel started to come off. That's my right side. Let's go left side. Same thing. We'll come back out to about 5. Hit that, we'll come out to 7. Keep that foot flat, drive through, and just there again. So, knee to wall, very poor for myself. That is one area which, as I'm getting older, 33 now as well, I need to be careful of from a calf soft tissue injury. But I should be fine with the amount of strength work that goes through those, but you never know. Let's set up some force plates. And Val, if you're watching this, if you could invent some less heavy, lighter force plates, that would be absolutely fantastic. Because the amount of times I have to move these around the gym for different testing, and they're very, very hard to move around. So, we're looking at squat jump, counter movement jump, drop jump. I want to see any asymmetries, so we can still see from a atrophy side of things, my right quad complex is still a little bit smaller than what my left is. We shouldn't be too far off from our pushing and our landing though. So when our takeoff measure and also our landing measure should be pretty symmetrical. I'm not carrying any injuries at the moment or anything right now, but we'll still see what it spits out. During sprint season here at Vikings, we test our counter-movement jump every gym session. And then we test our other 3 main tests, so our squat jump and our drop jump quarterly. But we're just, with some of our athletes, we are tracking RSI as our main measure at the moment, so reactive strength index. And as long as we're starting to see some improvement over time in that number, especially while we're in race season, that's probably more specific than what a counter movement jump's going to give us, especially with the amount of high velocity and accel work that we're doing at training. We're just not getting, we're not recovering because we train at the track and then we go straight to the gym. So when we test, we're actually in that fatigue state, which means the counter movement jump and jump data is often a little bit skewish. Regardless, that is ready to weigh. So we're zeroed, ready to weigh, see what the body weight's doing. 76.6, so I've had a huge refeed. I'll probably race at 74 kilos I weighed in on Friday. But here we go, squat jump. So I want to squat down, pause at the bottom, 3, 2, 1, jump, and stand it back up. Significantly lower. So that's 10% down. So if I was going through a normal training session now, I'd actually adjust that volume and the intensity of the session based on that data. But we knew we were going to be pretty cooked from the weekend and also a 2K swim time trial this morning. We'll go one more. Squat down, pause, 3, 2, 1, jump. And that's a little bit better at 39. We'll move into our counter movement now. So this is, I like to think about this as standing under the ring and jumping straight up to get a rebound. It'll be nice and explosive. Drop the hips down. 3, 2, 1, jump. Yeah, low. So 43 centimeters. So last week I hit 51. Again, starting to see probably that, 10 to 20% fatigue levels from the weekend. One more, 3, 2, 1, jump. 41, cool. We'll go straight into drop jump. This data won't be too relevant. With that leg hovering, going to step off the plate nice and high and be as quick as we can on the plates. Cool. And we'll go same again. 3, 2, 1, jump. And land. Amazing. We'll upload that to begin with, and then we'll reset. We might do some shoulder work. So all I'm going to do here, I was going to do some extra pogos, but my body is telling me that we are pretty fried. We're going to do I, Y, and T shoulder ISOs just to see from a shoulder, heaps of freestyle, heaps of saddle position where we're holding that. I want to make sure that that shoulder strength stays nice and high throughout and not cook it too much. All right, weigh this hand. Keep it nice and still. And all I'm thinking about doing is engaging and pushing down. So 3, 2, 1, push, 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 and relax. Cool. So it was about 15 kilos worth of force. I'm going to go Y position, resting, 3, 2, 1, push, 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 push. Relax. That's about 13 kilos. And now we'll go T position. 3, 2, 1, push, 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 push. And relax. and back to 15 kilos. So my Y position is obviously my weakest. On my left side, we'll go, right side, sorry, we'll go left side now. 3, 2, 1, push, 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 and relax. Good, 16 kilos. Y position, 3, 2, 1, push, 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 and relax. That's a bit better on that left side. That's about 15. And now T position, final one. 3, 2, 1, push, 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 and relax. Oh, T didn't work. Let's retest. 3, 2, 1, push, 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 and relax. Hey, there we go. 17. So, what this actually tells me, if we quickly look, is I'm actually stronger on my left side and I am right side dominant, but I do breathe on my right side in the pool the majority of the time. And after 2Ks of that today, I'd say that right side might just be a little bit more fatigued, but regardless, good data, it's there now. We don't have to think about too much more. So it'll be a baseline test that we do. I'll also do some strength testing at some stage in the first few weeks. So what we'll look at is probably trying to hit a heavy 5 RM, maybe front squat. And we'll probably also jump on the Nord board to do hamstrings as well. But I want to do that as part of my strength work. So most likely either tomorrow or on Thursday. But that's the force plate data collection done and the ranges as well. I'll have a bit of a look and then we'll keep you all updated. But I think one of the biggest things that I see, especially with a lot of endurance athletes, is that it's all good seeing like a physiotherapist or a chiro or an osteo when we get injured in the process of training. It's very, very rare that we actually have people being preemptive and coming in for a screening, a performance assessment first to kind of identify, hey, look, you're kind of at risk here, or let's get on top of this early before it actually turns into an injury. Actually had an ultra marathoner in earlier today for a running assessment for that exact same reason. He's doing a 100-kilometer ultra on the weekend. So we ran through our mobility testing, our force plate testing, and then we looked at him from a running mechanics point of view, a gait analysis on the curve treadmills, and we went through some coaching through that. We identified a couple of different areas that I foresee as being some limiting factors as he goes and he gets this ultra marathon done. We also went through and worked through some cues to help him post ultra to get him running a little bit more efficiently as well. So I think that's still it's a huge area where we'll see some growth from a performance side of things in the next probably 6 to 18 months. I would say is that less of the I'm injured, fix me, and let's do some stuff about, hey, I'm about to train for this. Let's get some baseline. Let's be smart about our programming from a strength and conditioning side of things, and let's make sure that we get on top of the potential injury before it even happens. You're going to save money. You're going to make sure that you're staying consistent, and you can train at the intensities that you need to, rather than obviously, breaking down 6 weeks into a marathon build or a triathlon or an Ironman build, where we could have potentially, obviously, highlighted the fact that that was an area that you needed improvement. But that's just my 2 cents. I am, as a strength and conditioning exercise scientist, that's my bias, is that we treat things before they are things, rather than a rehabber who focuses on that rehabilitation of an injury as it goes through. But regardless, that's a ramble. That's a performance assessment. Let's go.